Greetings, Lemonation. I'm Monique Pressley with The Week with Monique. 2 words. Cory Booker. That's what we have to talk about this week, because talking about anything else, sure, there's all kinds of news, as there always is, and some of it is very pressing, and we absolutely should be paying attention to it. So I hope you're following me on my YouTube channel at Monique Pressley channel, and I know that Don's been covering a great bit of it here, giving you the news you need and giving you the opinion that you want, that's based on facts and based on data. But for this week, where we talk about that one thing, it's gotta be Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey and the heroic efforts that he made in order to wake us up, in order to bring us back to attention, in order to focus us in on the issues that matter and focus us in on the danger, the threat, the harm that is occurring because of the Trump administration and the actions that they are taking that are not for the American people, but against them. This week, we watched Senator Cory Booker put his body on the line, all of his very considerable brain power on the line, his history as a statesman, as a former mayor, as a football player, as a Rhodes Scholar. He brought it all to the floor of the Senate at the U.S. Capitol and started what is now the history-making longest speech ever to be given there. Senator Cory Booker has broken the record once held by segregationist, white supremacist Senator Strom Thurmond, who spent 24 hours and 18 minutes on the Senate floor fighting against civil rights for women and for people of color, fighting against civil rights. And it is perfection, chef's kiss, that the person who would break that record would be the epitome of everything Strom Thurmond couldn't have imagined then and did not want to imagine. That a black man, bold, brilliant, powerful, loving, practicing kindness, full of faith, would be the person, the leader, to topple that record, who now, forevermore, when people mention the longest speech that's given that has held up the regular order of business in the Congress, Cory Booker. 2 words, Cory Booker. Now, I want to talk to you about some of the important things that Senator Booker wanted us to be paying attention to. The reason that he felt it necessary to start some good trouble in the tradition of Representative John Lewis, a hero to us all, whose loss we miss to this very day. But in that tradition of good trouble, he came to the Senate floor and he talked about many issues. But I have a personal story that I haven't been able to tell yet, that I really don't even know if I have the words for right now, but I'm going to try. Because the minute I saw 5 days ago that Senator Booker announced that he was going to the floor and that he was going to be what you would know as filibustering, except for filibuster is technically when there is an active piece of legislation that someone is going to present. So what he was doing was retaining the floor, holding the floor, preventing the regular order of business through a speech, with the assistance of his colleagues who were able to come in and ask him questions, long ass questions sometimes, in order to give him a break. But he still retained the floor while all that was happening. When I saw that he was going to do that, I said immediately, I've got to be there. I'm going to be there. If they're letting people in, I'm going to be there in person and show support, because I knew that what he was doing was the shaking, was the bubble bursting, was like the scratch of the itch that we needed in order to wake us up. I sensed that in my spirit. And I had interviewed him like a month ago, where he was talking about how we needed to be taking big, bold action. And I just knew that I needed to be a part of that history, because you know what? You can either watch history happen or you can get in there and make some history. You can be a part of the history that's happening. So I called my good friend and colleague, Elizabeth Booker. She's Booker Square on Instagram and elsewhere. And I said, what are you doing? Let's put some boots on the ground. They've said we can go and actually be at the U.S. Capitol, in the chamber, in the gallery of the chamber, as he's beginning his long Herculean filibuster. And we didn't even know at the time that he was going to break the record. We just knew he was holding the floor as long as he could hold the floor, because he was saying he would hold it as long as his body would allow. So around 11:45 p.m., the night that he started, we went down to the U.S. Capitol. We went in on the tram, rode on the tram to the gallery. We sat in the gallery as a show of support. We stepped out at times, did some interviews. I had the opportunity to interview Senator Murphy, who was there the entire time of Senator Booker's speech. I interviewed him. I interviewed Senator Kim, who was there late that night and who was helping. There were others who were coming in and helping, but they really worked the late shift. And we stayed until 3:45 in the morning, because it was clear to me, one, if we're going to do anything that moves this country forward and in a better direction, it's going to take huge, bold action. Two, it was clear to me that when we're taking these huge, bold steps, it can be a lonely journey, because fear can get comfortable, as he talked about in his speech, and as our vice president this week has also talked about. Fear can be contagious. We can be afraid and then use the fear as a reason to not act. And then we seek company with those that do the same. He was doing something different than that. So we were a part of the something different that he did, that I am hoping is going to cause all of us to take massive action in our own rights. As you know, when I talk to you guys every week, I say it's not really what's going on in Washington that you need to most concern yourself with. We got that covered. What's going on with your block, with your community, with your county, with your state, that's the part we want you to be paying attention to. And yes, still writing your members of Congress, writing your senators, being active, using your voice, volunteering, donating if you're able to donate, anything in order to show, hey, I'm not just letting things happen to me. I'm going to be in the process. Why? Because you're the one who has the power. And that's what Senator Booker said over and over. That's the part that I want to win the week with you. We've got the power. The power that senators have, the power that a president has, the power that anybody elected has. Sure, they have power, but where did it come from? We gave it to them with our vote. And we can take it the same way we gave it. So when Senator Booker was talking about the Department of Education and the risk that our special education community and our disabled community, the risk they are under of losing their funding, that's something we have the power to correct. When he talked about the Affordable Care Act and how our government right now should be doing things to move measures forward to provide more health care opportunities for our constituents, for our citizens, instead of less. That's something we've got the power to do something about. When he talked about the actions that are going on abroad, where we are now turning on people that used to be allies in other countries and making friends with dictators, making friends with fascist regimes and autocrats, totalitarian forms of government. We've got the power to turn that around. If you haven't looked at his speech, please take the time over the next few days, not just the highlight reels, but sit with it. Go on YouTube, go to his YouTube channel and start it from the beginning and take off chunks at a time, because what he was talking about was important. And there was a lesson in the fact that he was talking about it then and disrupting the normal course of business to do it. And then the putting of oneself on the line for the greater cause, for the greater good. That's a lesson too. One that I'm hoping we can all share. So not just in education, not just in healthcare, not just in foreign matters. He talked about tariffs We've gone all the way off the deep end on that, even since he ended his history-making speech, haven't we? He talked about how this administration promised that they were going to lower costs, and now they're doing things for no reason at all that are going to bring costs up for everybody. He talked about the fact that the issues that we care about the most: do I have food on the table? Can I afford to send my kids to college? Do I have housing, and is my housing secure? These are issues that this administration hasn't paid 1 ounce of attention to since they started on January 20th. Instead, taking thousands and thousands of people outside of employment, ensuring that our unemployment goes up, that our employment goes down, ensuring that costs are going up when they're supposed to be taking them down, ensuring that we're just unstable, insecure, anxious, fearful. That's what we've gotten so far from this administration, and that's what he was highlighting. I could go on and on talking about Senator Booker's epic speech, history-making speech. People will be talking about it, studying it for years and years to come. I would love for you to go and dig in, as I said, and do some study for yourself. Listen to the discrete parts that directly affect you. But the last thing I want to leave you with is this. I didn't just get to go and be there in the gallery that first night, Monday night, late into the night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning, when the gallery was empty. At one point, it was just Elizabeth and me and Senator Booker's cousin and the people who were on the floor where he was speaking, him and Senator Murphy and the people who had to be there to do the work. So maybe 12 of us total in that huge big chamber. I didn't just get to do that. I was able to go 24 hours later and be there when he broke the record and when he said to close at 25 hours and 4 minutes. Madam President, I yield the floor. And his voice cracked. It's insane. I can't describe it now without having chills. I was with 2 friends, with Elizabeth and with another dear friend, and we shed tears. But what it taught me, being there that night when the entire gallery was full, when the floor was full of members of Congress and with the Senate, when all of the eyes of the nation, millions and millions of people watching on all kinds of platforms and channels around the world and rooting for Senator Booker and praying for Senator Booker and applauding his efforts and what he was doing and talking about the issues. A day later, 1 day later, went from a few of us there, the actions of one man. 25 hours, 4 minutes later, all the eyes of the world were on it. Let that be the lesson. Even if you start alone, even if you feel like you're one voice shouting out into the void, even if you're not sure anybody will pay attention to your efforts and you look like a crazy person for trying, it doesn't stay that way. Your one voice can turn into hundreds, can turn into thousands, can turn into millions. Not just listening to you or applauding you. That's not what Senator Booker was going for. Your one voice can lead to action that moves this country forward. I implore you, find your epic moment. Maybe it's a bunch of little bitty moments that make epic effort. Try it today and let me know. Thanks for joining. I look forward to seeing you again next week on The Week with Monique. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do at Monique Pressley channel here on YouTube. And of course, like this video, share it, subscribe to Don's channel. Until next week, stay safe out there.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.